What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to my channel, How You Figure. And in today's video, I'm going to be going over my top 10 most anticipated Star Wars hot toys of 2024. Stay tuned. All right, so we're going to kick things off here with our honorable mention, and we have Moff Gideon here. I'm a huge fan of Mando. I think Moff Gideon. I didn't get the original figure that's still available pretty much everywhere. I don't think the head sculpt was bad. I knew this one was coming out, and I was like, I'm just going to hold off on getting that Moff Gideon. I think Giancarlo Esposito is a phenomenal actor. I think this head sculpt is just fantastic. I mean, that looks way, way better than the one we have right now. And I just think this figure is going to be great for any Mando display. Again, I'm not a huge fan of this look of the character, and but that's a pretty cool function right there. But well, the more I'm seeing of it, the more I'm kind of liking it. But I will be showing it off like this with the head sculpt. I just think that head sculpt is phenomenal. Rolling eyeballs functionality in this with this character, and this is an honorable mention to go with my Crow Mando. So I'm very excited to add Moff Gideon to the collection. And now we're into the top 10, and they just showed some blogger photos of this character, and it is Padme from episode 2 Attack of the Clones. Here's the thing. I think the prototype head sculpt looked phenomenal. I mean, I think this looks phenomenal. Sometimes when I've noticed the blogger photos come out, the character looks worse than it does when people actually get it in hand and show reviews of it. And to me, the blogger photos looked fantastic for this figure. I thought that the head sculpt looks really, really good. That's just my opinion. I know some people have some different opinions on that, but I think it looks really good. Now, this look right here, not going to be displaying it with this look whatsoever. I'm not sure who will. I mean, and maybe every once in a while you can, but I just think the more iconic look is obviously this right here. And again, we're going to talk about this guy later on. But for me, if you're going to get an episode 2 Anakin, this is kind of an essential companion figure to go with that. And that's just my thinking. And again, we're going to be talking about episode 2 Anakin down the line. But yeah, Padme, I just think the head sculpt looks great. The Natalie Portman likeness is there for me. And I can't wait to add this figure to the collection of my prequel trilogy. Let's go to number 9, and it is Sand Trooper with the dewback. Here's the thing. With me just now starting out collecting figures, this is going to be a tough pill to swallow, getting both of these. I'm probably more than likely going to just get the Sand Trooper Sergeant because I don't have a Trooper yet, and this Trooper just looks phenomenal to me. There will be some decisions to be made, though, because the dewback absolutely looks phenomenal. I'm thinking about just going ahead and pre-ordering it, monthly installments. Because, again, it's one of those figures that I feel like once you get one, you're gonna want to get two. And that's the issue I have with like troopers and just any type of characters like this, is I want at least two. I know a lot of people get the clones and they want as many as possible of the droids. That is definitely something that I would be tempted to do as well. But again, there's no downing. I don't have any vehicles. I don't know if I'll have the space for it. This isn't technically a vehicle, but it is going to take up a lot of space, so that will be something for me to look into as well. But this figure just looks absolutely phenomenal, and I think the Sand Trooper by himself is worthy of this ranking, but especially with the dewback, it is absolutely top 10 material for this year. And at number 7, we have ObiWan Kenobi, and actually I take that back. This is number 8. I apologize. Number 8. Obi-Wan Kenobi from the Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi series on Disney+. Here's the thing. I really want a Padawan Obi-Wan from Episode 1 Phantom Menace, but until that comes out, or in Episode 3, I'll take anything from the prequel trilogy. I know they have that Clone Wars figure that's coming out that looks really good as well. But Obi-Wan Kenobi from the show, wasn't a huge fan of this show, to be totally honest. It had its moments, but I just think this figure looks great. And for right now, again, I just think Obi-Wan is definitely a character you want in your Star Wars display, and I'm no different. I think the head sculpt looks pretty good. I'm a little nervous about it. I mean, the beard, the beard, I'm a little nervous about that, but I think everything from the nose up looks really good. The eyes, the different wrinkles there, and the hair looks really good. I'm a big fan of Ewan McGregor as this character, so again, I think this figure is going to look really good, but it is going to come down to that beard for me on how well this figure is received. And we're going to jump right into number 7. Sticking with the prequel trilogy, we're going to go with Mace Windo. I know some people aren't as excited about this figure because of maybe the head sculpt. There's no rolling eyeball functionality. I totally get that. But to me, having a Mace Windo in the collection is just a must for me. I think Samuel L. Jackson did such a great job with this role. Samuel L. Jackson as an actor has such a presence anyway. Add that with Mace Windo, who purple lightsaber limited screen time in the prequel trilogy, but every time he was on screen, it was memorable in my opinion. And I just think he is just an iconic character in those prequel trilogies. And as I've said before, I love the prequel trilogies. I grew up with them. So I'm very excited to add the Attack of the Clones Mace Windu to my collection. And we are going to go to number 6, and it is the Imperial Praetorian Guard here. And I know this might come as a surprise to a lot of people, but again, I already have a Mando, I already have a Kylo Ren, and as a beginning collector, I'm trying to get the essential characters, but the thing is that this would already go with a display on a couple of characters I already have. And so I love their appearance in Season 3 of Mandalorian. I also absolutely love, and this is what I'm really getting it for, the throne room scene from Last Jedi with Kylo Ren. Say what you want about the movie, I really enjoyed that scene, and I thought that's one of Kylo Ren's highlights of the trilogy. And to have one of these guards, maybe even 2 eventually down the line, to go with a Kylo Ren display, I think would look absolutely phenomenal. So again, I just love the weaponry, the way these guards look. You get a couple of them that looks real menacing on the shelf, and they really pop, I feel like. So I'm looking forward to adding these to my collection. Now we are going to get into the top 5 most anticipated Hot Toy Star Wars figures of 2024, and we're going to start with my favorite of the original trilogy, Return of the Jedi, and we're going to go with C-3PO, the die-cast version. Look, I'm going to keep it short and simple with C-3PO. This will be the only C-3PO I'll ever need. Is the Return of the Jedi C-3PO will be the only one I ever need, because I think this one's going to look phenomenal. I think the die-cast is going to look superb. I think it's going to pop off the shelf great. The interchangeable faceplate is such a cool little feature here, and you get different accessories to go with it. And just look, just the base. I even think the base is actually pretty decent there. Get a couple of hands. Pretty simple figure, but one I think that's really going to pop off of your shelf. And again, I love Return of the Jedi. It's my favorite of the original trilogy, so I definitely want more figures from that film. On to number 4, Ahsoka Tano. Listen, Ahsoka was probably my biggest surprise. I thought I would like it. I really, really liked Ahsoka. I thought Ahsoka was really, really good. And Mandalorian is kind of my go-to like Star Wars Disney Plus show, like it is with most people. But Ahsoka was very, very good. And it's a show that I want more of, and it's characters that I want to see more of in figure form. And Ahsoka is no different than that. Like, I mean, it's an iconic character. It's a character you have to have in an Ahsoka display. My only trepidation on this whole thing is I feel like now I'm going to have to get every single Ahsoka character that has come out, and that makes me a little bit nervous as a beginning collector, but I digress. I feel like Ahsoka is a character that you absolutely need to have in your Star Wars collection. I just think this one looks phenomenal. I would even get the one that's out right now and be happy with that, but this figure looks great, and I can't wait to add her to my collection. Now we are going to go to number 3, which is, I told you we'd talk about him again, back to the prequel trilogy, and we're going to go with Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, Anakin Skywalker. I cannot wait to have this figure in my collection. I think he looks absolutely phenomenal. I think this figure is going to be a sleeper hit. I think it's going to be one of the best figures Hot Toys puts out this year. I just love this look for Anakin. It's the first live action version of Hayden Christensen's portrayal as Anakin, and I just think it looks great. I cannot wait to put this on my shelf with the Padme. It's going to look phenomenal in the prequel trilogy setup and display that you might have going on, and I just think this figure is going to be great. Now we're going to go to number 2, and we're going to go back to the Ahsoka series, and we're going to go to Sabine Ren. If this figure looks as good as the prototype, or even 80% of what the prototype looks like, this could be one of the figures of the year. The head sculpt looks absolutely phenomenal. Sabine Ren was such a badass character. I love the different look. You can pose her as a Mandalorian in a Mandalorian display. You can put her in your Ahsoka display. She's a Jedi as well. You can do all these different things. You can pose her as Jedi. You can pose her as Mandalorian. You can pose her as both. I just think that that's why she's such a cool character, is that it can be interchangeable. And again, as cool as she looks as a Mandalorian, I'm probably going to have a display with the head sculpt, no question. I mean, this head sculpt is that good to where I feel like you have to display the head sculpt. And now we are down to our number 1 figure. It is a tie for number 1. On my overall top 10, that I did, you can check that out. Check out that video. I'll have a link in the description of my overall top 10 most anticipated Hot Toys of 2024. But for my Star Wars one, I wanted to have both of these on here because in that top 10, I only had one because I felt like it was cheating, but I have to shout out both these characters. And we're going to go with number 1, which is a tie between the Darth Vader battle damage from the ObiWan Kenobi show and, of course, the Darth Vader deluxe version from Return of the Jedi. I think both versions of this character are badass and phenomenal and iconic. I personally love this look. Obviously, this is how you'd want to display it, but for me, it's all about Return of the Jedi. This is the one I want more if I had to pick between the two. If I had to, and I'm probably only going to get one, but I had to shout out the other version of that Darth Vader simply because it is such a beautiful figure, and I know it's going to be great for people that want that one over this one. But this is my iconic Vader right here. This is the one that I want on my shelf. This is my number 1 Darth Vader deluxe version from Return of the Jedi. I cannot wait to add this one to my collection. All right, everyone, that was my top 10 most anticipated Star Wars hot toys of 2024. I hope you liked the list. I'm sure you disagree with it. I'm sure you had another top 10 in mind. Again, it's just my list. It's just an opinion. Let me know your opinion in the comments below. I'd love to see where we differ. I'd love to see where we agree. And I'd love to see what your top 10 or a few of your most anticipated figures of 2024 are. Let me know in the comments, and if you haven't already, please make sure to hit that like button if you liked this video, and check out some of my older videos if you want to see more videos, top 10 overall of 2024, and I have a couple of reviews up on my channel. Just started beginning collecting, so I would love you to join me on this 6-scale figure collecting journey. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you next time.